A fan of the Monday Movie Club. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. This week, in an effort to be somewhat current, I made us watch the fifth and final chapter of Indiana Jones in a new segment we're calling What's Streaming?
That's great.
That is good.
I'm Frank Gaffney. With us, as always, is Joel. Joel, what are you wearing?
That's Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
I
Is there any Indiana Jones thing behind you?
Yes, there's a bunch of figures behind me.
Figures.
Indy, Sala, Short Round, Henry Sr., Mola Ram, Cairo Swordsman, Monkey Man, and in the back is Mutt.
You know, it's very hard to see it from here. So
Okay. Oh, here.
But I should have said it figures.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Goldfoot and Cringer. What happened to Cringer?
I keep Daddy company.
Well, I want to show off my reindeer games.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, could you please go back to the thing people tune in for?
Our one fan tunes in for Cringer.
The cat. Put the ears on.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, good Lord, man.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Now we're gonna get the complaints from the ASPCA.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, switching the cat. Annie King. Merry Christmas, Annie King. Is that a vacuum in the back there? Nice. Keep the vacuum in the bedroom. Okay.
I actually have a vacuum on each floor, so.
No, she has the vacuum here because the movie sucks. And Mark Wotitz Gardner, who looks channeling Willie Nelson this morning. Is that a Christmas tie?
Yeah.
What
Wait.
is the Christmas tree?
Oh, it's light bulbs. Didn't see that.
Didn't I know? It looked like leaves. No idea what it
Yeah.
was. And he has a picture
wait,
up.
wait, now that I have the chance, I can show you my shirt.
That's great.
Not today, Santa.
Well, it's tomorrow. So.
No, Frank.
No.
Christmas is today,
Today.
Monday.
Oh, right. It's today.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. So the plot, finding himself in a new era, approaching retirement, Indy wrestles with fitting into a world that seems to have outgrown him. But as the tentacles of an all too familiar evil return in the form of an old rival, Indy must don his hat and pick up his whip once more to make sure an ancient and powerful artifact doesn't fall into the wrong hands. How funny is that? I didn't make that up. All right. And this is the first one without Steven Spielberg. And it shows hopes were dashed right from the beginning when the Paramount logo, the mountain, didn't turn into something. And then we get the Lucasfilm logo, which turns into a lock on a door.
I thought you were going to say which turns into a shitty movie. Which I didn't think it was.
Joel, is this the first animated adventure of Indiana Jones? Because that first 20 minutes.
The de-aging CGI, is that what you're
That's what I'm referring to.
I
okay.
thought they
And, you
did
know,
a
it
great
was-
job.
It was pretty impressive, yes. But that segment went on way too long, almost 25 minutes. And there were definitely times it looked animated, especially his hair. There were times when the hair was like a weirdness. And sometimes the audio, he sounded younger, but sometimes he sounded like 80-year-old Harrison
I thought he
Ford.
always sounded like 80-year-old Harrison Ford.
You know, sometimes they managed to make it a little higher pitch. But here's the good thing. This is how Barbara Streisand can play Mama Rose. They can de-age her. I like it. And so I took notes while I was watching the movie, and some of them will be amended later. But my first note was, why no Karen Allen? Oh. And here's the first WTF. You know, I can't curse for, you know.
For our one fan.
So Indy knocks out the Nazi driver, drags him out, and deposits him right there in the thing. The very next second, these other Nazis get in the back seat. They on the same side of the car. They didn't see the passed out guy on the floor. Is that like normal?
No, there was a lot of parts in that whole Nazi scene that I had a problem with.
Oh my gosh. I was like, seriously? And then when he he gets on top of the train, Dr. Voller, he had a gun before he got on top of the train, but he preferred to use the Holy Lance, which turns out to be a fake relic of the knife, to kill him rather than use the gun. And then he uses the gun. Like, just try and make the segment longer. That's all. And then he survives getting hit with that metal pipe. No brain damage, no half a skull. So if it's not animated, then it's a live action cartoon. Because Wile E. Coyote got hit like that all the time and got up the next second.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing that really annoyed me, because the entire internet community gave the Indiana Jones movie such grief, and that whole saving Indy from the nuclear blast by being in the refrigerator, you would think they'd go to greater lengths to make the final chapter more believable, right? But no. Okay, and then they're looking, now the Dial of Destiny is called the Antikythera?
Antikythera.
Antikythera?
Antikythera.
Okay.
Just
So
call
now-
it the Tesseract and move on.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what is that word I'm thinking of? Was Tesseract. Damn it.
This Tesseract? Okay. So then Voller helped them to get the man on the moon. So they give him slack, I guess, to search for this Antikythera thing. But why didn't the government cut ties with Voller when his goons kills the 2 civilians? I'd be like, okay, that's a little overstepping now. We're done. And why do they even need Indy when they know where the Kythera is? And since Helena betrayed him, why would they think he was important to them? Do they know who he is? All right. And these supposedly in-shape goons can't catch up with an 80-year-old man.
Well, he is on horseback.
Oh, that I did laugh when at the end of that whole ridiculous segment, when he gave the reins to the guy and said, "Here, hold my horse."
Yeah.
I did laugh. Okay. But why did the police think Indy killed his 2 coworkers?
Danielle said because he had blood in his hand and he held the phone, but I had a whole problem with that whole part. Yeah, it was very confusing.
And I guess maybe because he didn't like their retirement gift. So
Was
killed
he
them?
the only one there? So they just assumed?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. It's that he was the only staff member still in the office at that point. He had blood
He
on
had
his
blood
hands
on
from
his
examining them. The phone had blood on it from when he picked it up and got the blood on the phone.
It's the fugitive all over again.
And then
Yeah,
he
plus-
disappears.
Yeah, and you're also dealing with, at least 1 or 2 CIA agents who are going to work it in such a way where it's like, oh yeah, he's going to be wanted for murder because we don't want it getting back on us that we accidentally, did this. So.
Yeah. And we needed one more plot point.
Yeah.
And John Rhys Davies, he's still alive. Aw, barely. But why couldn't Indy just take a cab to the airport? He had to call his friend. Oh, because he doesn't want to be recognized,
'Cause he's a-
right? But
he's
yet
a
he goes
cheap
into
old
an
man.
airport. Then he goes into an airport full of people who might have been watching the news as well.
It's because he's a cheap old man.
He's a cheap man.
He knows he can get a free ride from Sala. Doesn't have to pay the
And-
taxi fare.
There you go. And why did we need another flashback to see young Indy again, get the Antikythera, when they already discussed it and we knew how he got it? That's another 5 minutes they could have cut out of the movie. And it was, there's a few callbacks to the other Indiana Jones movie, like the cute replay of the gun versus a knife bit. So Indy has a knife and they all take out the gun and they start firing at him. But why didn't they aimed their guns lower when Indy fell down. And I would have been like, boom, I'm going to get you down there. It's not like
that
you
was
were
prob- that was-
invisible.
That was probably the
There-
dumbest part of the whole damn movie.
There were a lot of stormtroopers in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like,
Oi.
it's not like he disappeared. He's under the table. Just shoot under the table. And then with Helena,
Helena.
and another plot with the mobsters. Did we need more mobsters? Aren't Nazis enough anymore? The map was cute, another throwback. Eels look like snakes, another throwback. The underwater bit was okay, but Antonio Banderas' part was really just a cameo.
Yeah, I was shocked.
And I wrote again, this is way too long. And okay, so, and of course they had to have the kid, because then we're in Temple of Doom. Was that the kid one?
Yep.
We have to have an ethnic kid for the
Yeah.
foreign market. But we have a Brit too, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I heard did some rewriting of the script too.
Yeah.
She should have worked harder. And Teddy, the ethnic kid, this was really like, oh my God, when he handcuffed the bad guy and let him drown. I'm like, wow, that is cold.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a little kid. That was some serious shit right there. I'm like, whoa. Okay. And I also did not appreciate that Indy told the story of how Shia LaBeouf died. And he told it to Helena, who he barely knows. And I would have liked it better if he was actually telling Antonio Banderas, who was his friend, and Helena overheard the story. I think I would have liked that better. Here I am rewriting the movie. And then came the jump off the cliff, the OMG moment, the fumble of this movie. Time travel. Good Lord. How the hell does this dial supposedly take you to an exact place in the past and then overshoot by 2,000 years?
But it doesn't.
How did they end up?
They explained it.
They explained that the dial was designed only ever to go back to that battle.
Yeah.
So it was a lie.
I wish we didn't go back to that battle. And so then at the end of it, that is one hell of a punch that Helena gives Indy, because he was knocked out for 22 hours of flight time and went through customs all the way back to his New York apartment.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a punch.
And Bandage, so.
Goldfuck, am I losing you? What's going
Oh
on?
my God, that was hilarious. I'm just
But you
picturing
agree
Lon
with me, right?
Ernie passed out going through.
Well, no, they went back on the plane Teddy flew through, and then they just flew that all the way back to America. They could just fly into a private airport.
There you go.
So he didn't have to go through customs.
Exactly.
Okay.
But he did get all bandaged up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was very sweet at the end. Although Karen Allen must have been very disappointed. And
He looked so great though. I was like, wow, you go girl.
so and I was even more disappointed because the director was James Mangold, and his last two movies, Logan and Ford versus Ferrari, were great movies. I like them both very much, but and on paper he would have been a great choice for this movie, but I guess there were too many cooks in the kitchen. And it really genuinely broke my heart that this movie just trashed itself. 2.75 stars from me. I'm fine with nostalgia, and honestly, it's no Phantom Menace, but at the same time, a very disappointing end to a very fun series. And if we're putting them in order, it is 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. 1, 3, 2, 4. That's what I'm saying, Joel.
Okay, you're allowed to have your opinion.
Stop shaking your head. Go ahead. You tell us how much you love this movie.
I liked it a lot more than you. I don't love the movie. I enjoyed it immensely. It's not Raiders of the Lost Ark by any stretch of the imagination. It's not even Last Crusade or Temple of Doom, which, having gone through the entire Indiana Jones series, not just the movies but the TV show as well.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, earlier in the year, and having seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull again for like maybe the third time, it's still the worst of the movies, because I appreciated it a little bit more, but it's still the worst of the movies. It's very obvious Spielberg had checked out. It's very lazy, it's very sloppy. Here, at least, yes, James Mangold is not Steven Spielberg. It is missing some zip and spark that I think not necessarily Crystal Skull Spielberg would bring to the occasion, but at least, the first three movies Spielberg would bring to the occasion. That is sorely missing. The presence of George Lucas is not missing at all. I think that Mangold and the screenwriters found something that they could ground in the archaeology that the other movies worked on nicely. The time travel aspect didn't bother me at all because they grounded it, unlike the aliens in part 4 that, come out of absolutely nowhere at the end of the movie. And it's like, fuck this shit, I'm checking out. Yes, the movie's a little too long. I don't know exactly what they could cut beyond shaving things off here and there. The minor subplots didn't bother me. This being the final run of the character, the nostalgia factor is very much in motion, and I liked that aspect of the movie. Indy is feeling his age. He is feeling like an artifact that belongs in a museum. And I think the fact that the movie tanked, I don't think it tanked because of bad reviews, because I think critics don't really count anymore because they don't know what they're.
I don't necessarily call $178 million tanking. But
Well, the problem is
live up to expectations.
Yes, but unfortunately, that's what they call it, tanking. When the movie,
Well, because I think they lost $100 million.
At the end of the day, yes, but that's the movie cost them like 350 million.
Yeah,
Didn't it only make like 20 million opening weekend or something?
Yeah, it did very badly. And as I think I've told you, I was directing a show with a bunch of kids at the time when the movie was coming out, and none of them gave a shit. Which is fine. Even my kids know who Indiana Jones is, and they didn't care about seeing,
because all of us will catch up. All of us will catch up to it on Disney Plus, which we did.
Well, yes, and it actually has. When the movie hit streaming, it became it's doing much better on streaming than it was doing in the theaters. A lot of the movies.
So far it's made $384 million worldwide.
Yeah. So
384, and the budget was 300 million.
Yeah, so that's a disappointment.
But it's not a tank.
Well, it is a tank because what you have to do is the
market. You're a tank, Joel.
Yes, I am. I'm built like one. But anyway, look.
Well, I just think, when you set your expectations so high.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the problem. Is I think a lot of people set their expectations way too high. This movie was never going to be the next Raiders of the Lost Ark. It physically couldn't be for so many different reasons. A lot of the things that I know you found as flaws, I had no problems with. I liked that he was telling Helena Shaw the story about Mutt Williams. It actually brings that character up a level, not him or her. It brings Mutt Williams from a movie that he's not even appearing in up a level as a character that, oh, okay, they did something interesting with this crappy character that makes sense for this story to explain why he and Marion are having issues. That scene alone reminds people in my book that Harrison Ford isn't just a movie star. He actually knows how to act. He's not just Kevin Costner, I think, part of me feels like the part that Antonio Banderas was playing was originally supposed to be the captain of the ship in Raiders of the Lost Ark that took him to the island at the end of the movie. And the actor's still alive, but that would have made more sense to me if Captain Katanga was back as his friend who does deep sea diving, as opposed to, hey, we're going to bring in Antonio Banderas as a character nobody knows about, cares about, and oh, now he's dead. Let's move on. It's just kind of,
Spoiler alert.
the movie's been out since June. Who cares?
And
Our
one fan
fan-
may not have seen it yet.
Yeah.
Then they shouldn't be watching this because we're talking about.
Yeah,
the movie.
really.
I mean,
Yes. I'll put that in my thing tomorrow. Don't watch this review.
And you know that I will always give a little more
Slack.
slack, yes, for lack of a better word, to movies like this, because it is next to impossible for them to live up to all the expectations that are being put on them by society at large. For what
But
it
they
is,
get points for trying.
yeah, they get points for trying. For
But
what
at the end, James mangled the whole process.
Been waiting for that.
Right?
I don't
Every
believe
time Joe
he
said
did.
mangled.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I've now seen it twice. I will watch it again. I love Indiana Jones as a character. While part of me is sad to see that he will most likely never live on in live action in some form at
They
this
could
point.
just animate the whole next adventure.
They could, but I think they're just letting
Done.
go. Because they wanted to be, it didn't do well enough for Disney to justify ever coming back to it. So
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna hurt from this movie. They're gonna make back the
oh,
money.
Disney will eventually, Disney will be fine. I'm not worried about them.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because I'm a
That
stockholder,
stupid woke
so I
company
need-
that's, anyway.
I'm a stockholder, so I need to make sure that we're gonna be okay.
Okay, yes, well,
All right, so what at the end of the day,
at the end
I
of the
guess
day-
we're going 1, 3, 2, 5, 4.
1, 2, 3, 5, 4.
Same
So-
here.
Especially after the most recent viewings of 2 and 3. They're really, 2 gets a bad rap for reasons it shouldn't, and 3 gets overpraised for reasons it shouldn't. So they're about equal to me. If Raiders is a 4, 2 and 3 are kind of a 3.5. This one, King of the Crystal Skull would be a 3-ish, probably a little bit lower. This I'm going to give a 3.25. I enjoyed it a lot. So
Annie, are you a fan?
I'm a fan. Didn't I pick
seen
Raiders
all
of
of
the
them?
Lost Ark?
you
You
did.
did, and
Yeah.
you've seen all of them.
Yes, I have.
I just wish I had watched 4 again before we did this. I forgot.
Yes, I didn't get up to watching 4 also. But I first saw it on the plane ride somewhere, and I kind of fell asleep after the 2-hour mark, I think. So I
So
kind
did Harrison Ford.
Hmm?
So did Harrison Ford.
yeah. So it was good that you picked it because I got to watch it again. And I think somewhere in, after an hour and a half, I'm like, how much longer is this movie? So to me, it did feel long. It did feel a little.
We actually had to watch it in 2 parts. After an hour and a half, we're like, there's an hour left? No, let's watch the rest tomorrow.
Yeah, so it was a bit long for me. I thought, the action was cute and stuff. I didn't mind the story. It was fine.
I got the same thing, Hewlett Packard.
Yeah, they can hear you, Kathleen.
Oh, yeah.
Just say Kathleen is here, so
Sorry.
We've been hearing both of them the whole time.
she thinks she's in a cone of silence over there.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Amy.
Merry Christmas.
You too, babe.
Thanks, doll.
We can take that out and post.
Yes. No, she's our guest.
Yeah, there you go.
She did not watch the movie.
Yeah, I thought there were some parts that were hard because like in the boat scene as they're rushing away or something, he keeps changing position, I feel. Like first he's on the right side, then he's in the middle. And I was like, it seems like every angle there was like a different shot of him. But other than that, I don't mind this, suspending belief and imagining all that. So the time travel thing was fine with me also. It was okay. I did think like they were gonna leave him there when he asked. I thought they should have done that. It would've
Yeah,
been-
totally ending the whole series
Yeah.
that way.
it would've been-
They
Yeah,
they couldn't.
Because then he would have changed the whole course of everything ahead, right?
Well, not
Where
just
they
change the whole
resisted.
course of everything ahead. That it would have canceled out the framing devices on the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which George Lucas got rid of anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
so for me, it was a 3. I'd give it a 3. Maybe a second watching, I would give it more. And I have to go back to Crystal Skull, I think.
Joel is saying don't. And you
yeah,
go,
you can.
you watched them all, right? This whole
The
week,
last
right?
2 weeks, the first week I watched the first 3, and then last weekend first week I watched the first 4, and then last Sunday I watched this one, and I had never seen any of them before except for Raiders. I'm not a big Indy fan, I've decided. I don't think Harrison Ford is a particularly good actor. Still don't think so. At least not in this type of movie and Star Wars. I think maybe like in The Fugitive or something. I'm sure he was wonderful. I don't remember.
Witness.
Witness.
Witness. I don't know if I ever saw actually. I remember it. Some of my silly notes I wrote. They did a terrific job making him look younger. I mean, they did a really good job.
Yeah, but the other thing was all of those scenes were so dark. I mean,
Yeah.
so they were trying to. I mean, look at the poster behind Mark. They're like, he's not really 81. Don't look at the wrinkles.
I love the setting being old timey New York, and I loved him riding the police horse through the subway. I hate when the script makes the characters absolute idiots for our sake because the writers think we're idiots. When Indy and Baz, is that the character's name?
Basil, yeah.
Basil. All right. We're on top of the train, and God, I hate a movie with a fight on top of a zooming train. It's ridiculous. But when they were on top of the train, Indy slid the gun across the train, and Baz just looked at him with no clue as to what to do. And Indy had to finally say, "Pick up the gun." And then he's holding, shoot him. I'm like, why wouldn't this character have done that? And then when Helena and Indy, and of course, now we have to have a teenager involved, back to what you were saying, Frank, being chased through Tangier by Aziz, he screams to Helena, "Do you think he's proud of this?" And Helena actually yelled, "Who?" Now, who do you think he was talking about? But just in case somebody in the audience didn't get he meant her father, she had to be a moron. I hate that. Who says to anyone in the world, especially a 15-year-old, have you ever flown one of those? Oh, yeah. He's to a 15-year-old kid. Have you ever flown one of these planes? Oh, but go ahead. Just fly the fucking plane. I held the control once in my cousin's tiny little one propeller plane. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to crash. I can't do this. And this 15-year-old is flying a jet.
Well, you do know the flight simulators are like video games these days. So he had this little flight simulator set up at the hotel.
All right, I'll give you a little bit of that. I'll give you a little bit of that. I smiled.
It reminded me of Laverne and Shirley when she was teaching Shirley how to drive
Oh God, I don't remember that.
with the cans of food and
Yeah.
Oh, that
With-
I
with
remember.
glasses,
Yes. Oh
the
yeah, and she
pieces
said
of the
the
gas.
gas and the beans. Right. I'm almost done, I promise. I smiled when he was telling Helena that he needed to stay with Archimedes, and she said, "Me too," and punched him, and we went to blackout. And that was just great. I loved when he kissed Marion's shoulder. Also, she looked great. That's what I wrote. So yeah, I'm actually gonna give this one 3 stars. I didn't hate it at all. I fucking hated 2, so I can't believe how much you guys liked 2. I was like, with the
I love 2.
oh my God, hated with the stupid singing and it was awful. But I digress. I don't know how I would
yeah,
actually do them.
He only cast Kate Capshaw because he was hot for her.
Yeah,
She was terrible.
Terrible, and it's ruined the whole movie. But anyway, so 3 stars. I don't know how I would do it. Maybe I would put 3 at number 1. I didn't even love Raiders, so enjoy your Raiders.
So,
Wow.
so
I'm glad I saw them all.
Amy's
I'm
opinion is
very grateful.
completely worthless based on that alone. So
Yeah.
I know, like I said, I'm really glad for this group that I watched them all. Finally.
good.
All right, Mark. You have the poster up, so this is at least a 3-star review.
Well, hold on. I'm an Indiana Jones fan. That's why this is on. Not
Well,
necessarily
if
the
you
movie.
were, it would not say Dial of Destiny. It would be some other Indiana Jones.
And even the
You
crystal,
could have picked
if we were doing the crystal skull, I'd have this picture up too. It doesn't matter, even though I don't like them. It's 1, 2, 3, 5, 4 for me too. But
One,
yeah,
three,
no, I
two, five, four.
1, 2, 3.
1,
5,
2.
4.
5, 4.
But it
well-
says Dial of Destiny.
Okay, you know,
When
I
did
have
you
a picture
turn
of
into a
Indiana
4-eyed
Jones.
freak with those glasses? What is that about?
I've got my contacts in, so I've got to put reading glasses on.
Oh my goodness! And those are the ones you chose?
These are the only ones I have.
Ugh.
They're reading glasses.
Ugh.
Anyway,
They have fashionable ones. Just go to CVS.
I got these at Walmart.
Ugh. All right, move on.
All right, I enjoyed it, but overall, I was a bit disappointed. I did like the de-aging in the beginning, but so many things annoyed me. A lot of you guys have already kind of said this, but in the beginning, like Frank, to your part with when he was knocking the guys off out of the Jeep, and when he was surrounded by all the Nazis and strung up, about to be shot or hung. There's 6 Nazis with guns, and not one of them shoots him. And then the bomb goes off and kills everyone around him, and he's fine. It was just so unbelievable. Go ahead.
Wait, there was one that when the bomb got caught on the rug and it started going down. What did it make you think of? The Money Pit with Tom
Yeah.
Hanks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've seen this somewhere. Where did I see this?
I was confused too by like Voeller's posse. I didn't know if they were all CIA at first. They didn't really explain anything until when they in the helicopter when they killed her. Then you kind of
Yeah, and she was like, "Look at me, I got an afro. It's the '60s."
pretty much. And I thought maybe I wasn't paying attention, but when they were on top of the train in the beginning, when Voller said, "Give me the dial," didn't they toss it to him? They tossed him a bag.
Yes.
Yeah,
They tossed him a bag,
I-
but they had the
yeah, I know. He said something like, "You don't think I tossed him the real one?" or
Right,
something
yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, when they were after they got out of the water, and they were
And
reversing.
Did they? It looked like they kind of tried to de-age Mads Mikkelsen too, but did they?
I don't know that they necessarily
didn't look that
de-aged him
different.
as kind of give him a little extra age in the 1969 scenes,
Yeah,
and that probably was just standard makeup and not anything
Yeah.
special.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say
because
it's makeup and hair
I'm
color.
like-
Yeah.
I'm like, he aged much better than Harrison Ford did.
Well, because he's an Aryan. That's
Oh,
they don't age. They stay blonde haired, blue eyed the same way the whole time. So
Okay, there you go.
that's why Hitler looked like shit.
And I always thought, I in most adventure movies and Indiana Jones movies, the villain's going to catch up to the hero and capture them. I get it, but the posse showed up every time they got somewhere. They showed up immediately and then either stole the clue, kidnapped the kid. The part where where is it? It was like National Treasure was like that too, with when they were constantly chasing them and grabbing. They were like one step ahead and then they were right there, but they were stranded in the ocean, not knowing where to go. And he sees Indy go west. No, sorry, go west instead of east.
Yep.
And he knows to go to the exact town in Sicily where they are and get there at the same time, even though they're stranded in the ocean. It was the biggest. That ruined my suspension of disbelief.
I want to address that real quick. Yes, the boat being disabled and having to rebuild that was a bit of a stretch, that they shouldn't have gotten there exactly. But Voller's been studying this thing for so long, he knows everything about Archimedes, that the minute he sees them go west, he's got to be going, oh, they're going to go find Archimedes' tomb, which has got to be over here. That I had no problem with.
That's all right, fair point. But but the timing was still off. It was
Sure.
too much of that the whole time.
I get that.
Anyway, having said that, the actors were great. The characters were great. Most action scenes were very good. I liked the tuk-tuk, although it was sped up very obviously sometimes, but it was still fun. The ending was a bit meh for me. I know a lot of people love the ending. I didn't. And why are they even bothering shooting at the Romans? You're just plane go flying somewhere else. It made no sense. was like a Vietnam movie, like shooting them out of a plane all of a sudden. I don't know. Anyway, despite my critiques, it was still Indiana Jones, and it was better than the Crystal Skull. It's 3 stars for me, but I think it would have been a little lower. I would have been a 2.75 if this was not an Indiana Jones movie.
And Joel, explain
Yes.
to me, will you? Why was the Paramount logo at the front? Do they
So-
still own Indiana Jones?
So basically, from what I understand, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, Paramount still owned the first 4 movies
Right.
because it was a co-production. So
Right.
now that it's essentially a co-production via
Disney.
and Paramount, Paramount has no control over the movie, but has like a co-production
They
credits.
have to be credited.
They
I
have
read
to be
it.
credited in a certain way, but Disney was not going to use the Paramount logo to fade into any sort of mountain picture for them. So yes, that's
Well, it says right on Wikipedia, and we know that's the be all and end all. Production company Walt Disney Pictures Lucasfilm Limited, distributed by Walt Disney. Doesn't mention Paramount at all.
yeah, but Paramount does have they have to be because they're
Yeah, obviously
part of that.
they gave them the opening shot.
Frank, keep reading because I read Wikipedia too, and that's where they mentioned that they had to be credited. So it's somewhere down there.
All righty, we're done. Dial of Destiny is on Disney Plus.
And I will doing a quick plug. I believe they're still there. I could be wrong, but the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles movies are should still be on Disney Plus. They are enjoyable and fun and educational. So
And who's the kid who plays Indiana Jones?
Corey Carrier plays him in the first 5 or 6 movies, and then it's Sean Patrick Flannery. He plays him as
Sean Patrick Flannery.
plays him as a teenager during World War I and beyond. So it's a lot of fun. You get some nice callbacks. You do get to see Indy's father, played by I think Lloyd Owen is the actor's name, doing a pretty good impression of Sean Connery. So as a younger man. And he, those of you who can't willingly suspend your disbelief, Indiana Jones meets pretty much every famous person that existed between 1906 and 1925.
Oh, so it's like Forrest Gump.
Yes, in that sense it is. But it's fun the way things played out. Like he's roommates in college with Elliot Ness, things like that. So
Can you give me that card right there?
That's funny.
I definitely remember watching them and thinking they were fine.
They're fun. They're enjoyable. So.
But what I really need an explanation of is this.
What do you need an explanation of that for? It's a Christmas card.
I don't. How did you get your kids to actually be in a picture?
It just happened. We don't question it when it happens. It's like an earthquake. You don't.
I was like,
you ride it out. You don't question it. You move on with life.
This is like finding the lost ark.
Yep. We went to see Elf up in Fairfield, and they were doing Santa pictures, and the kids were in a mood that they were willing to let us do it.
Wow!
And they actually took like 5 or 6 different poses, and that was.
And again, they're even smiling.
Yeah. Yep.
Good Lord. That's definitely suitable for framing. Andy said, "It's a Christmas miracle."
Yeah, exactly. It's like a Sasquatch sighting.
Exactly. All right, so Indiana Jones, I said, is on Disney Plus if you just subscribe to that streaming service or get someone to give you their password. Or you can rent it from Prime for $5.99. And my library has it already, but there are 47 people in line waiting to see it. All of the generation that still loves Indiana Jones and knows who he is.
Yeah.
And didn't go to the movies because they're too cheap.
How long ago was the fourth one?
2008, I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
So that's 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So most of those kids weren't born yet.
Nope.
All right. And next week, I cannot believe I'm going to say this. We start with our 3rd year of picking movies.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That's amazing. And we're going to begin with Nicolas Cage and the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which Joel and I can relate to because we have the same problem.
We make a shitload of movies and eventually might accidentally get nominated for an Oscar.
No, we have massive talent.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were just talking about Nicolas Cage. That's what
I don't
I'm-
think it's available to stream anywhere.
Oh,
Really?
I had to get it from the library.
Oh, jeez.
It is in my
Then we
collection.
can't use the what streaming segment of this.
What?
We can't
No.
use the what streaming.
No.
I just did that.
Now, this was Amy's
I
choice.
just did that to be funny.
Yeah, now you're gonna have to give him a kidney stone.
It says it's on
Variable
Stars.
We don't have stars, Mark.
Oh yeah, it says direct TV streaming or Stars. But you can also get it from Prime Video for $3.99. That will be what Amy will be doing.
How about
All right,
you?
that's it for us. Happy holidays to you Christians, and the Jews are done, right?
Yeah.
Hanukkah's
Yeah.
done.
Yes, we're done.
Dante, Santa.
That's it for us. Joel, turn it off.
Go watch a movie.
Go
Yeah.
watch a
Go with
movie.
you.
Yes.